So I made $30,000 from TikTok, and this is just going to be a video of how I did it. And it's just going to be really a reflection. And if you're wondering right now why I'm in this confined space, this closet, because I really just wanted to go back to where it all started, and it was really in this closet, to be honest. So this video is going to be more of like a reflection video, but also I'm going to be giving some pointers on like what to do and what not to do. And this is kind of like my first year of business, so I'm going to keep it pretty real in this video and not really do a lot of edits or anything too crazy. I'm just really going to speak my mind and talk about the year and just how it went. It was a pretty crazy year. So, 1 year ago, I had a dream, and pretty much the dream was where to get where I am now and accomplish these goals that I pretty much wanted, which was to make $2,000 a month. My friend actually wanted to go on a trip to Japan and a couple other places, and literally I had no money to my name. Like, I'm not even joking, guys. Like, I had no money, and I was saying like, oh yeah, sure, I can go on this trip, right? I'm gonna make the money somehow. And he's like, oh, you have to have this amount of money, which is like a couple grand. And when you have $0 and you don't know where you're gonna get it from, it's kind of like, how am I gonna make this happen? And I couldn't ask my parents because like I'm not like, I'm not to like be mean or anything, but I'm not really, our family's not like a rich family. We kind of just get what we need, do what we have to do, you know what I mean? So this is kind of what forced me to, it was like a motivation that I gave to myself in order to get to where I wanted to be as well. So it was this thing for sure. Pretty much I wanted, $3K for the Japan trip, whatever, and then I wanted to get like a new phone and accessories. Pretty much like all this literally all happened. And then a later need, I kind of wanted a Tesla, which I haven't gotten yet because like Teslas are expensive. They're like 40K. But I wanted some AirPod Maxes, because AirPod Maxes, they look good, and I heard that the sound quality was good and the noise cancellation was good. And honestly, it was the AirPod Maxes are pretty good, so that's what I got. And then overall, the goals for the year is I wanted to have like 3 TikTok accounts in the creativity program, all doing good, preferably different niches. I don't know why I put preferably, but yeah, I put preferably, which is interesting now that I look at it now. I want to start like a vlog/travel niche YouTube channel. That's kind of what I did here. I started a YouTube channel. I don't even know how I made this channel. Like the idea popped up and I just went after it. And anyways, make an automated YouTube channel. That would be cool to do still. Start dropshipping. I did start dropshipping and got sales. Actually didn't do too bad. I actually did it with a partner. Let's just say we made like 1,000 or something, a little over 1,000, couple thousand, just from selling this like one product, which is pretty crazy. But like just trying it out, it was super cool to like do. And then I had long-term goals, which these are long-term goals, which I want to accomplish later. But yeah, I put overall make 10K a month here, but my goal really was to honestly make 2K a month. Like this is what I was like striving for every day. Like when I woke up, I wanted to make $2,000 a month. But anyways, this was that was a dream list that I had that I made on January 22nd at like 8 a.m. Literally, I got to school and I just made it because I was like, I kind of have to think about what I want and where I want to be. So going into like why I chose the business model of like TikTok and stuff and like social media, to be honest, like there was like a couple key reasons why I wanted to do TikTok. No, not TikTok, but like social media. Like when I first started, oh my goodness, like you don't even know. I was about ready to crash out when I first started. I'm not even gonna lie. Like I was so frustrated every day. Like when you're starting from square zero and you have absolutely no information on what you're gonna do, it's like you just have to test things out. I'm not even gonna lie. But I kind of did have a little bit of experience because when I played video games, I'm not gonna lie, this is kind of where the video games sort of helped me. Like when I played video games, I would always look up YouTube videos on how to get better and stuff. So whenever I changed games, my goal was to like be the best at that game. So I was like, I kind of treated this as a game, which pretty much what I did was, I did research on what I wanted to do, which is social media. I didn't know exactly like how to monetize, but it was kind of just like a fun project that I wanted to like sort of do in the beginning. And I was just testing a bunch of things out. I literally tried Pinterest, I tried Instagram, and I leaned more towards TikTok because like I heard it was a platform that you can grow really fast on, like all this and stuff, and it was a growing platform as well. So I just hopped on it. I posted, the first thing I started posting were quotes, and kind of going into like the deep meaning of why I actually started a business. The reason why I really started is because like I'm not even gonna lie, like my main motivation when I first started before like this year, because before this I was kind of building up these skills, this sort of skill set by just like testing things out and like just doing all this random stuff. But pretty much like the deeper reason as why I wanted to start this sort of business and get monetized and all this stuff was because I was actually talking to this one girl, and she back and forth, blah blah blah, whatever, and she didn't really respond to me too much. And I would actually send her these quotes because I was corny at the time, guys. It was a couple years ago. I was corny. I would send her these quotes, and I'd be like, hey, can you, she never, I don't even know if she read the quotes or not. I think she left me on red, but she wasn't really giving me a lot of attention. So I was like, that kind of hurt me a little bit. So I decided, why not just go into social media where you can be famous? Like you see all these people getting famous online, and you're like, ooh, I want to be famous. So I started doing like a quote channel. So that was kind of what I wanted to do when I started just doing like random stuff. So I knew I wanted to do quotes, and I saw these quote pages, and I was looking up all this stuff. And then I started a quote channel on TikTok, and that's where it all started, to be honest. Like I started posting quotes every day. I was being consistent. I was doing what needed, like, honestly, just being consistent. Like I don't even know what I was doing, but I saw that I got 100 views, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is a lot of views. At the time, I was like, 100 views, this is crazy. 200 views, this is crazy. And then, I got a viral video, and I was like, oh my gosh, 1 million views, got to keep going. So it was kind of like, in the beginning, it was just like a fun sort of thing to do. And it was fun in the beginning, for sure. I was just posting quotes, and I was literally just taking people's quotes and reposting them on TikTok. And that's kind of the same thing that I sort of do now. But no, it is the same thing that I do now. I edit the videos a little bit, but whatever. Anyways, getting back to it. Yeah, so it was because of that. And then also because I would ride the bus and the train pretty much for school. And every time I rode the bus, it was like chill. I would see all the people on there. Like there was obviously like a lot of different people riding the bus. But the main thing was because when I was riding the train, like I would hear all of these older people. They would literally do the same thing every single day. Like, I'm not even joking you. When I got on the train going to school, of course I had that routine going, but everyone on that train had the same routine for like decades. I'm not even joking. And I would be sitting down, and occasionally what I would do is I would just listen to the other people on the train, and they were talking about how like, they were talking about, oh my gosh, my job is this and that. And like, I'm really just trying to make this money out here and all this. And like, I would hear all these stories about these people not really being satisfied with what they wanted to do or being satisfied with the job that they had. And I didn't really want to do that. So, and another thing was also because I didn't want to get a 9-to-5 job, because when at 16, I was trying to get a 9-to-5 job, and I was doing the applications, and I got rejected from like everything, like Target and some other, I'm not going to name them, but I got rejected from them. So I was really just like, you know what, I'm just going to do this and go on and see what happens. Yeah, like that's kind of like the story behind it from like a year ago or a year and a half ago. And yeah, like my main goal was just to make like 2K per month. So in terms of me getting monetized, the reason why I got monetized is because like I was doing it for fun initially, and then I was like, you know what, I kind of got to start making money from this somehow. So how can I make money? So I looked up YouTubers, because that's what I, of course, what I learned from video games. Look up YouTubers, whoever's better than you doing at it. And I found this guy named Joe Speedy. Shout out to Joe Speedy. I'm actually in his Discord. He's a goat. He still teaches people how to do stuff on TikTok, and not TikTok, but more YouTube shorts and Instagram and stuff. But shout out to him, because he was making like videos of how he went from 0 to like 10K followers, and like he was showing his journey. And I remember watching those videos, and I was like, I can really do this too. Like, it's actually not that hard. And, I already have experience in TikTok because I've been posting quotes or whatever. So I kind of know the algorithm a little bit. And I was doing a lot of research and like looking at other people's channels and stuff. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna switch to like his sort of thing that he's doing, right? So I did that. I locked in, and oh my gosh, I had so many issues. Like, I didn't know how to edit videos. I didn't know how to find, clips. Like, I didn't know how to do all this stuff. But really, it was just like a journey of like experimentation, trying to learn about how to do all this stuff. And it all worked out, because ultimately, I kept trial and error. I got unoriginal content strikes all the time. I remember when I was having so many issues, and I had to learn the hard way about a lot of these things. Like when I first tried to join the CRP, is what it's called, the Creativity Program Beta. That's what it was called at the time. I remember trying to join it, and I got rejected, and I was like, why did I get rejected? So like I had to go to Discords and like ask people like, what did you do to not get rejected and stuff? And like this one dude said he deleted all of his videos, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try to. I deleted all my videos. And then one day I was on the bus, and I was trying to like appeal, or whatever it's called on there. When you get kicked, you gotta appeal, or when they don't accept you, you gotta appeal. So that's what I did. I appealed, and then I got accepted, and I was like, oh my gosh, let's go. And then I pretty much had all these skills sort of built up on the way. And like I was posting consistently, of course. I was doing everything that I had to do, and I was getting views still. And that's when it all just hit, because like I was finding good clips at that time, banger after banger. I posted those clips, and then I was like, whoa, like you could really make money from this. Like I remember when I first made money, it was like it showed $300 on the dashboard, and I was like, oh my gosh, let's go. You know what I'm saying? Like I was telling my brother, because he didn't really believe in me. And like I was showing my dad too. I was like, Dad, look, I made $300 online. Like this is crazy. Like I didn't know you could do this. And I was like a complete mindset shift, and it was crazy. Now that I'm talking right now, I'm kind of just like going on like this is like definitely just a reflection, but I remember actually no, I'm not even gonna talk about it. It's fine. But yeah, I got through all of it, got into the program, started earning money, and it was crazy. But one thing I do have to say is there were definitely some sacrifices when it came to like actually doing this TikTok stuff. And during the time I was doing a sport, I was doing track, and then school. So like for all the people who say that you can't like build something while you're in school or while you're doing sports, like you can definitely do it. You just gotta like go to sleep on time and make sacrifices. Like the sacrifice that I made was that I love playing video games, and like I really did love playing video games, but I knew it was gonna like stop me from my goal. So I'd literally just cut it out for like several months on end. Like I didn't play video games for months. And also it was just like I was going back and forth. Like I literally woke up at 4:30 to get to school, and then I didn't go to bed till like 9:30, 10. That I had to repeat it every single day. So it was like a routine. I was on a routine. I was going back and forth, and I was looking for these time slots where I could fit in, where I could like edit videos and get things done for my business. I'm gonna call it a business. But yeah, I had to make a sacrifice of just not playing video games and really having to focus on what I wanted to get, because I feel like a lot of people, they don't really have that focus and that mindset because of all these different things that are going on. But you really have to like make a priority of what you want for yourself. That's kind of also why I wrote down these wants and needs that I wanted, because I wanted to see the goals that long-term goals that I wanted. I didn't know when I was going to hit them, and I just went after it. And I recommend that you do the same for this year. And then just never giving up. Like I always had like all these issues with TikTok, unoriginal content, but it's just like trial and error. Like you have to be a problem solver. If you're not a problem solver, then you're not ever going to get anywhere. And if you're not consistent, then you're also not gonna get anywhere. So it's really about just being consistent. And then while you're being consistent, you're gonna run into some problems, and you just gotta be a problem solver and be willing to solve those problems. Because if you're able to solve those problems, then it's gonna help you in the long run. So you can ask people about it, you can watch videos. There's a lot of things that you can do. There's a lot of information that you can get to solve problems. So that was just like another thing that I wanted to say. Another thing is like finding a mentor. Honestly, when I first started, like around in January, I was so this is kind of crazy how I sort of found like a mentor, and it's not like an in-person mentor. It was more of like a online digital mentor. Actually, I did have an in-person mentor. He was one of my best friends. His dad like owned a business, so I would just talk to him every day and like ask him questions about like how his like dad's business going, because he actually worked with his dad a lot, and he was telling me like a lot of stuff. So I kind of like gained that sort of mindset, and it's very rare to find people like that like they have sort of like a business or something that's going on. And I definitely just wanted to like learn as much as I could from him, and I did. And like all the stuff that he gave me, still using it to this day, and I still talk to him every day, or not every day, but every once in a while when I can. But getting back to the mentor thing, literally how I found sort of like a mentor was, it was kind of luck. But I feel like with luck, honestly, it's kind of like the same thing that my mentor says his name. So I found this guy his name is Charlie Morgan, right? As a mentor, and pretty much it was kind of a coincidence of how I found it. It was kind of funny. I was looking for clips for the TikTok thing, right? And then I go on YouTube and I found this one clip, and then I was thinking about posting the clip to one of my channels because it went viral. Then I was like, nah, I'm not gonna post it. And then I remember like a couple days later, I see this post of him saying like how you could be a millionaire and all this stuff, and I was like, whoa. And it was just like it said an hour video, and I was like, an hour video? Like you see all these videos on YouTube of all these people making like these 10-minute videos and them telling you how you could be a millionaire in like 10 minutes. And I was like, this dude made an hour video, and I feel like there might be something to this. So then I clicked on it, started watching the video, and I was like, wow, like this stuff is crazy. And then I started thinking about how I could apply it to like my sort of thing, my TikTok thing. And I was like, whoa, like this stuff really can change your life. Yeah, shout out to Charlie Morgan. And then the next thing is that I want to talk about is my traveling. Okay, so with traveling, this was one of my main goals when I before I even had money, because my friend just was like, oh, you want to go to Japan or something, or like we could do stuff. Like I feel like a lot of friend groups, they have like sort of these ideas of them going on a trip, but this time my friend actually made it happen. Like he was actually like for real about wanting to go on the trip. So we just assembled, so like that was a main driver. But traveling was a great experience. Actually ended up going to Japan, Hong Kong, Taiwan, 3 different places, which is 3 different countries is pretty crazy. So completely different culture than the United States. I live in the United States, so it was a complete polar opposite. What I mean by that is just like, Japan people are a lot more, they're a lot more chill. I feel like they like to be in groups more. There's not as much, like in America, I feel like we're pretty like direct with how we want to communicate and how we want to talk. But over there, they're not as direct, but those people are so nice out there. It was like crazy. Like they're so polite. Like even though they don't know your language, like they are so nice, and everyone is like pretty chill there. So shout out to Japan. And then Taiwan, great experience. Like the people there are like actually so nice, and like there's like no crime. It is actually insane. Like I could just, not to be like weird or anything, but in the US, like sometimes you can't be walking out at night in certain areas, if you know what I mean, because some people, they might get you. So out there though, oh my, you could walk at night. Like I remember I was free roaming in Japan and Taiwan at like 2 a.m., 3 a.m. and just free roaming, like going through like these alleyways without a fear in my mind, because crime rate there is significantly low. So that was another experience. The food there is good. Taiwan, Hong Kong is beautiful. Like the city looks absolutely beautiful. I remember when I got there, I was like, whoa, they like their bridges are huge, and like they have like all this like tech. I don't even know how to say it. It's like the technology on the buildings. It just looks so cool. It looks way better than LA. That's all I gotta say. But yeah, Hong Kong. Yeah, traveling overall was good, and actually, hopefully, my editor, he throws up some traveling clips. Of course, this video is not gonna be super edited, but you know, I highly recommend that you travel at least once in your life. Traveling also, when you're trying to like run a business or you're trying to grow, I definitely recommend that if your main focus is to grow, then I wouldn't really travel too much. I feel like I kind of travel to a lot. I actually even traveled to Hawaii as well for like, it was kind of like a sort of a family trip, so that too. But if you're trying to grow a business, it's definitely taking like 2 weeks off. Even 2 weeks off is kind of like crazy, I'm not even gonna lie. So the next thing I want to talk about is from fun to responsibility. So you know, at first I was having fun, and I mean I still do have fun, you know, but sometimes things get a little repetitive of what you do, especially if you're doing it every day. And what I mean by responsibility is like, you know, once you start actually earning money for yourself, you know, even just like the transition for me right now, like in 2024 I graduated high school, so it was like, I don't know, maybe it's because of the point in time that I am, like the age that I'm at, but it kind of went from like, when I started making money, you know, you got to be more responsible with the money and help out the family and money. So definitely just giving. And I also want to talk about like a team, trying to build a team. I was definitely like, when I first started out, I was trying to build a team as quick as possible, because like I was hearing all these entrepreneurs say like, oh, you got to build a team, you got to do this stuff. In the beginning, when you're starting out, I don't recommend that you sort of get a team. I recommend that you do it on your own, because you do it on your own, you're going to be able to go at a much faster pace than if you were to go with like a partner or something, because you're kind of both holding each other back when you're trying to like do things, because you don't both have the mindset of getting to where you need to be. You haven't done it before. Like maybe that person is extremely good at editing, and you might be good at something else, but they've kind of made money from editing, you know what I mean? But that's what I mean. So building a team is definitely, it's still hard. I'm still trying to build a team, and it's still hard, and I'm gonna go a little bit deeper in that later. But the next thing I want to say is just know that it's gonna be hard, and it's gonna be like hell. I'm not even gonna lie. A lot of people say it's easy, like even just, I know reposting videos is like nothing crazy, but when you're first starting out and you have no idea what you're doing, just know that you're going to be frustrated a lot. You're going to be angry a lot at the things that you're doing, because you don't know if you're doing it right. And yeah, and you know, you might not get views or something. You might be like, this thing is stupid, man. Like it doesn't even work. Like a lot of people say like, oh, this business model doesn't work, and they try it once. And the thing is, like, you have to really go through the process of trying to try it out and get better. Whenever you try something new, you just know that you're going to suck at it like a lot, and just know that in order for you to get better, you're gonna have to go through hell, you're gonna have to go through fire. And the last thing I sort of wanted to reflect on before I get into my mistakes part is just like learning about business. Overall, like I learned a lot, even just from this little, like just doing TikTok. Like any business model that you can do, you really learn about business. And I learned like how to make an LLC. I'm learning about taxes, learning out how to build a team, leadership. I mean, I'm learning all this new stuff just from this first year, but I know that in time that I will get better. Now I want to go into this mistakes part, and if you're watching, this is honestly like the most important part, I would say, of the entire video. In terms of mistakes, like I made a lot of mistakes, and I still continue to make mistakes, but it's kind of meant to be, you know, that it's the only way that you're going to grow is if you make mistakes. And first mistake that I made for sure this year is leadership. I wasn't able to lead well, I would say, to be honest. I was still trying to develop these systems. I wasn't open-minded, and I wasn't focusing enough on like my team. Like I was like, and I'm gonna go into this later, I was very egotistical, I feel like, when it came to, you know, doing things. Like I would do things on my own. I'd be like, why is my team not able to do this just like me, you know? Because like I was able to learn it this fast, how come they can't learn it this fast? And the reality is, like, you know, not everyone's gonna be able to, you know, people are different, everyone has a different way of working. And if you want to learn more about people and stuff, I recommend that you read Ray Dalio Principles, and like that book really helped me. I need to reread that book, because that book really shaped and like changed how I think about people and how they work. Just know that people are different. They're not everyone works the same way, and not everyone's, you know, mind is shaped the same way. So, you know, and also just like developing systems for your members. Like, people just expect your members to like just know how to do it. You need to like develop a system showing them how you do it so that they are able to learn from you and they're able to do it the way that you want them to. Otherwise, they're not going to ever do it the way that you want them to. And then the next thing is like me just being egotistical. Like, I'm being really honest with myself here. I would be pretty egotistical. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm making 2K, 3K a month, which is like literally nothing, guys. Like, I don't know why I was getting egotistical, but yeah, I was getting egotistical because I was doing it online, and like, other people aren't able to do it online. They have to get like a, an actual job and stuff. But, I was thinking all big and mighty and thinking that I was better than others because, I was just thinking like, oh, I was doing this online. Like, other people can't do it. And it was just, yeah, being egotistical definitely will throw you down. So try to, manage your ego. And also just like the traveling, since I had all this experience, I was like, wow, like I know what I'm doing. And the reality is I don't know what I'm doing. I still have a lot more to learn and a lot more to, be where I want to be, which is, accomplish financial freedom, take care of my family, and just live a small, chill lifestyle. The biggest mistake that I made, oh my God, like I'm not even gonna lie, for this year is money. Now, I may have made $30,000 for this year, but money isn't about how much you can actively make. Having money is about how much you can actively manage and save. This is like the biggest thing ever. Now, even though I made $30,000, I pretty much spent all of it. And I do have a little bit saved for taxes, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. Anyways, it's not about how much you can make, because like, I mean, I've kind of noticed this with like other people, like, make all this money, but how are they not able to, provide for themselves, or like, how are they not able to provide for their family? And that's because they're just spending it. And that was something that I did that I learned now at the very end of this year. Like, I can't be doing that. You shouldn't be spending more than what you're making. And if you're making something, you should just be spending on what you need, not like all these things of what you want, because in reality, they won't even satisfy you. You might buy like a Rolex or something, but is that really going to satisfy you? It's really just going to make you look egotistical, because you're like, oh, I have a Rolex. I got $10,000, $20,000 Rolex. I'm so cool. And really doesn't provide any value for anything, when you could really just use that money and put it back into your team, your business. That's definitely something that I need to change for this year. The next thing is always thinking of doing new things. Shiny object syndrome. So whenever you start like a business or anything, you're always thinking about like, oh, how can I get to the next thing? How can I get to the next thing? You see like all these people making all this money super fast, and you think like, wow, I should be able to do that too. What if I just switched over to that? But the reality is, like, I remember I was watching a video from Brian Moncada. I also watched a video from Alex Ramosi. They kind of interlinked, but pretty much what he said was, it's not about doing more new things, but it's about doing just more of what you're doing. Because like, thing is, like, everything gets repetitive as you keep doing it. Like, if I keep making videos every day, it gets super boring, super repetitive. But the reality is, you have to keep doing that in order for you to grow. And you just got to do more of it. You can't just like be thinking of doing all these new things, because you might get to that new thing and you might actually start making more money from it, but then you reach like a cap. And then how are you supposed to get through that cap? Are you going to find a new thing and start from zero again, or are you going to scale? And the only way you're able to scale is if you problem solve and actually, get through the pain. In terms of like my mistake, I would say like I was always trying to think of new things in a way a little bit, but I did stay true to what I was doing. My last mistake, I'm pretty sure, that I made is just listening to people who aren't on the same path as me, and this is a big one. So it might be friends, it might be family members, but there would always be people. There's always going to be people who have something to say about what you're doing. And for example, one thing that someone said, or a couple people said, is like, you should just take a break. You're working too hard, whatever. I don't believe like I'm working hard too hard in any way. Like, I'm just making videos. I need to learn that I'm not working hard enough, because like, if you look at like bigger entrepreneurs, they work even harder than I thought I was doing decent. I don't even know how to work. Let's just say that. So like, that's just like one thing that somebody said. And then also just like developing the same spending habits as other people. The reality is, I don't want to be poor. I don't want to be broke. So I can't be doing those bad spending habits that other people do. Is they go on splurges and, buy all these material things that don't even provide value to their life. And that's not something that I want to do. And that's kind of a mistake that I made this year. And I'm going to learn to not do that this year in 2025. So another thing is like people giving advice and recommendations on what I should be doing. That's kind of the same thing, sort of the same thing as like with people saying, you deserve a break or something. Like, people are trying to give advice to what I should be doing, but the reality is they don't even know sort of what I'm doing. And the only people that I would really recommend that you take advice from are people who have already done what you're doing. Because people who are talking to me, not to say that their advice is bad, but they kind of just don't know what they're talking about, because they've never really done it before. Maybe if it's some recommendations about the video or the editing style or anything, or anything like that, then sure, maybe that would be great sort of feedback. But the feedback would be like, oh, you should be doing this and doing this at the same time, so that he doesn't fall in a trap. And it's just like, you don't know what you're talking about because you've never done it before. So why are you telling me? Now, going on to my goals for 2025. This is I got this from an entrepreneur named Brian Moncada. He does YouTube. His company name is AdSpend, and I kind of watched his video and I was really inspired by it. He was talking about similar format to this video about what he was doing, and pretty much my goals for 2025 are peace, profit, and purpose. And I copied Brian Moncada, but I want to have peace in my life. I don't want to have to worry about money ever again. And the only way that you don't worry about money ever again is if you have a profit, which I know now because I was going on splurges, spending all this money like an idiot. If you have profit, then you're able to have peace because, if you have the money, you're able to like see farther out what you want to do. And also you're just able to, have a peace of mind and not have to worry about where am I going to get this next, whenever I get this next check or whatever, I'm going to go buy this stuff. And then purpose, like there's been a lot of controversy with TikTok lately, so I might have to find a new purpose, or if things go well, then continue growing the purpose that I have now. But just making sure that I'm going on, like becoming who I want to be. I know that I want to be an entrepreneur, and that I was sort of born for this, not to be egotistical, but I feel like I was sort of born for this. And once I found my purpose, it made me happy. So shout out to Brian Moncada. Now, of course, everyone's just going to go through a different journey, and I just want to share mine and give some inspiration to people who, maybe they want to do something online and they think that they're not able to do it. But honestly, speaking one-to-one with you, you can do it. If I'm able to do it at 17 years old, I actually believe that you're able to do it as long as you put your mind to it and you actively are trying to get better every day. It's a great thing in itself. If you're already doing that right now, great job to you. You're on your path to success. But I really just wanted to go over the reason why I'm making this video is just so I can share other things with other people. Yeah, a little bit about TikTok and stuff, and also just reflect on like how I was previously in the past. Also, so I can look back on this video in the future and be like, oh, this was the old me, and be like, this is where I'm at now. It's just always good to reflect every year. Now, I know a lot of you in the comments might also come here because of the TikTok ban, and the thing is, you might be asking, like, am I worried about the TikTok ban? Of course I'm worried about the TikTok ban because, like, I'm making money from TikTok, but I feel like all these skills that I've learned from TikTok are able to be applied to, other business models, in a way. And now that I've sort of got this mindset, I know that money is very abundant now. I feel like you can make money through like a lot of different things as long as you just put the time into it, So like all these skills that I gained, they won't like go for nothing. And, even though that I'm going through a lot of issues right now, and, I'm still trying to grow on my journey as an entrepreneur, I'm just grateful for everything that I've gotten this year. I was actually able to achieve all my goals, but I always want to do better, and I want to be better. So now I know some of you may have come also just because of TikTok ban. You might be thinking like, oh, this guy made $30,000 this year from TikTok, but it's going to get banned, you might be thinking like, am I worried about the TikTok ban? Of course I'm worried about the TikTok ban. And the reason for that is because, like, there's so many unknown variables about, what's going on, and I can't really control it. So, yeah, but, a lot of the stuff that I learned this year, it can be applied to different business models, and I'm not too worried about the next thing that I go into because I know that if I'm successful on one business model, I'm able to do it again in another one as long as I put, the same work, even more work ethic and, thoughts behind it. So, yeah, all these skills that I learned, they won't go for nothing. Everything could be transferred onto something different. So I am worried about it, but it is what it is. And then the next thing I want to do is just give a shout out to all the people who helped me out. First off, give a big shout out to Eber, my editor. He's a GOAT. He's editing this video right now. You know what I mean? He helped me a lot this year. Like, I would pitch him ideas about some random stuff, and this dude would just be like, okay, we're going to do it. Let's just do it. And I was like, all right, bet. And, he'll help me out with it. So, to have somebody like that, very blessed to have somebody like that. Next, I want to give a shout out to is Mike G. That's the dude I was talking about with the business. He's giving me a lot of advice. We started the drop shipping thing together too. Like, he was, great. Gave me a lot of great advice about business and stuff. So shout out to him. And shout out to Savage. Me and him did a partnership at the beginning of the year. Just for TikTok. Great guy. And honestly, his life has completely changed this year. I'm not gonna lie. Both of our lives has completely changed. But shout out to Savage. He's a GOAT. He was working really hard, and it just shows you what hard work can do when you're just like doing something that you kind of want to do in a way. Or if you want to try something on, like you're doing a business model online, just shows what you can do. Now, shout out to Daisy, because Daisy, she's been helping me out with these videos and stuff, so shout out to her. And then shout out to Vaughn. He was a video editor as well. He's a GOAT, great kid, still grinding. Shout out to my mentors Charlie Morgan and Sam Ovens. And just shout out to anyone who's I try to hire on my team. Like, everyone did their job, or some of their job. So shout out to with people. Now, if you want to reach out to me, you can go ahead and follow me on Instagram at Time Motion. You know, you can also leave a comment below, or you can go check out the Discord that I have in the description. I kind of made like a sort of a free course on there. And if you want to ask me any questions on Discord, go ahead. I'm actually more active on Discord than Instagram. You know, I know Instagram is more one-to-one. So, you know, let me know, and bye.